Thanks.
Have a look, Aunt Meg. Mr. Smith of Plavonia. We're about to witness the only flag-raising ceremony in Palm Beach.
It's like something out of a dreadful operetta.
That's what I was thinking.
And is that the Plavonian national anthem?
Well, Plavonia was never very musical.
Whatever happened to the place?
Got scuppered just before the war. There's a whole refugee colony living in New York on less than Mr. Smith spends on caviar. That's only the morning performance. The flag comes down, he fires a 21-gun salute and sets off a flaming rocket.
You mean this goes on every day?
Like clockwork. Seems our Mr. Smith has a maudlin attachment to the land of his birth.
Ah, that's his soft spot, eh?
Yeah, but the only one he has. Lives like a recluse, handles all his business through a network of agents, never leaves his fortress. One thing that might flush him out would be an affair concerning Plavonia.
I presume you have a plan, dear.
That's why I sent for you, Your Gracious Highness. From now on, you are Countess Alexandra von Hohenlauber, last surviving member of the royal family of Plavonia.
Wonderful. I haven't been royalty since that affair in Hong Kong, remember? And what about you, dear?
Roger Ryan, the gray ghost of finance.
Oh, won't Mr. Ryan mind?
Not until he sobers up. Our gray ghost is drying out in his favorite sanitarium in Monte Carlo.
Obliging of him.
So, if you're ready to go to work, Your Highness.
Plavonia, hail and farewell.
Plavonia!
Hail and farewell.
Herr Gottlieb Schneider in Zurich, Switzerland.
Why haven't you foreclosed the property?
Ja, mach schnell.
Please, let us not talk about women and children when we're discussing my money.
Herr Schneider, one moment for
At
Mr.
once,
Smith.
immediately, foreclose. Such a tender heart, I'm sick.
Yes, sir. Herr Schneider is on the line, sir.
Schneider, what the devil has happened to that munitions deal? What do you mean it's impossible to get export permits? Have you never heard of bribery? What's in the paper? Nobody's that honest, Schneider. Then may I make a little suggestion, Herr Incompetent Schneider? Shut up, listen to me. Blackmail, Schneider, blackmail. Don't tell me these honest custom agents don't like women. Use the tools at hand. Well, see that you do. And don't fail. Auf Wiedersehen. Well?
There's something I think might amuse you, sir. I've marked the item.
Read.
Countess Alexandra von Hohenlauber, last surviving member of the royal family of Plavonia, has arrived to spend the season in Palm Beach.
Well, read.
Countess Alexandra will inaugurate the season with a ball in honor of the international financier Roger Ryan, who is expected to arrive in Palm Beach this weekend. Mr. Ryan is one of the richest...
Shut up. Von Hohenlauber. Where's my invitation?
There isn't one, sir.
Why not?
But, sir, You never accept invitations.
We'll accept this one.
But, sir, there hasn't been any, sir.
What am I, some flutnik? Oh, I'm the richest Plavonian in the world. I leave the trifling details of getting an invitation in your hands. And don't fail. One and two, oh, love.
Mr. and Mrs. Bryson Randolph. Mr. and Mrs. William Tecumseh Young.
Not a sign of him yet.
Oh, don't worry, Aunt Meg, he'll show up.
I hope so. Renting this house has cost a pocket, and the catering bill alone.
Miss Elsa Idonescu.
Your Highness.
How kind of you to come, my dear. May I present Mr. Roger Ryan?
Oh. Are you alone, Miss Idonescu, or is that too much to hope for?
Uncle Max sends his regrets, Your Highness. He broke his ankle this afternoon playing polo.
Oh.
How unfortunate. But go and enjoy yourself and try to forget it.
Thank you.
I think there's more to Miss Idonescu than meets the eye.
Not in that dress.
I made up the guest list, Aunt Meg. She wasn't on it, nor was her polo-playing uncle.
Better go and find out what she's up to.
It'd be my pleasure.
Mr. Smith.
Kissing the hand, gracious Highness.
How nice of you to come, Mr.
Smith.
Have we met before?
Not really. But perhaps you remember me. On the day your honored father led his soldiers to war, everybody was in front of the palace. You were on the balcony with your family. A very young girl. I was also very young. I was with my papa, a tall man with very red hair. We were standing behind the tuba of the horse guards band.
Oh, so you are Plavonian.
Plavonia forever! Long live the house of Hohenlauer! Śnieradski Priburni, Arabatski Pi!
Yes, dear Mr. Smith, I think it would be better if we spoke in English. There are certain memories.
I understand the revolution.
Yes.
Down with the revolution! Von und zu Hohenlauer forever!
Absolutely, I agree with you. Now, dear Mr. Smith, I think it would be better if we went to some quiet place to chat. It is not often that I meet a fellow countryman I may talk with. Now, tell me, Mr. Smith, what have you been up to since you left the old country?
Well, when I first came to America, I was a poor immigrant boy with nothing to my name but 40 Plavonian zlotys and a silver case watch belonging to my uncle Lawton.
Dancing is in there.
Moonlight's out here.
I like the moonlight better.
You're a very beautiful girl, Elsa Idonescu.
You think so?
But I know so little about you.
What would you like to know?
Well, to start with, tell me about your Uncle Max. He must be a very important man.
Oh, no, he's just Uncle Max.
Oh, well, I thought only important people were invited to this party.
That is why I made up about the polo playing.
Oh,
I crashed.
I beg your pardon.
I crashed. I don't have an invitation.
Oh, you crashed.
Crashed. I still don't have an invitation.
Well, you went to an awful lot of trouble to attend a dull party.
It's not party. It's necessary for a young girl to meet important people.
Oh. Well, I'll see to it that you meet all the important men at the party.
It's not necessary.
Why not?
I already meet you.
Oh, and am I important?
Oh, yes. You're Roger Ryan. Also, you're very handsome and charming. And that is most important.
Well, now that you've met me, what?
Perhaps something good for both of us.
Perhaps.
How has it been with you, Gracious Highness? Do you have troubles? Tell me about your troubles. Do your troubles trouble you?
Dear Mr. Smith.
Money, don't tell me it's money. Is it money? Do you need a few dollars?
Being a Hohenlabe is very expensive. One has to maintain a position against the day when Plavonia will be free again.
The day should come tomorrow.
Ah, if it only would.
I could lend a little.
How kind you are. But I'm afraid it would not help.
But all this, such a magnificent party, it costs more than a penny.
It is just a front, Mr. Smith. I have gambled everything, hoping to impress Roger Ryan.
Roger Ryan? Who is Roger Ryan?
Surely you have heard of the International Financier?
International Financier. Believe me, Gracious Highness, they don't impress. Not me. The woods are full of international financiers. The papers are full of them. They come and they go. One day you are reading how they are in some big international deal. Next day you are reading how they are in jail. International financiers? Hui.
But Mr. Ryan makes a great deal of money for his friends. Dear Mr. Smith, if you only knew what it would mean to me, to Plavonia, if Mr. Ryan would allow me to invest what little I have in his new enterprise.
Well, why won't he?
He evades the issue. Every time I mention it, he changes the subject.
What is this new enterprise?
Well,
Oh, I beg your pardon.
come in, Colonel. Mr. Smith, this is Mr. Ryan's secretary, Colonel Sinclair.
How do you do?
Colonel of who? Colonel of what?
Well, honorary, actually. Household brigade, you know.
I have a brigadier general runs messages.
Really?
For a small branch manager, I have a Romanian field marshal. He don't steal much, and what he does is a tax write-off for public relations. A man with just a colonel for a secretary is not so important. I will talk to this Roger Ryan. Nice meeting you. Colonel?
Oh, yes, rather, yes, yes.
Well?
Roger Ryan, where is he?
On the terrace, sir.
Go away.
Do you know who you're talking to? Mr. Roger Ryan.
Yes?
I'm Mr. Smith.
Well, how do you do, Mr. I didn't get the name.
Smith. Smith! Mr. Smith! Perhaps you've heard of Smith.
Really, old man, are you always this excitable?
I want to talk to you.
Have you had your blood pressure checked lately? I can recommend an excellent man.
I want to talk about your new enterprise.
Salt-free diet, that's the answer. Plenty of fresh air, exercise, and cold baths.
I want to talk business with you.
Tomorrow.
Now.
Tomorrow.
But this is very important.
11 o'clock tomorrow. Give your address to my secretary, Colonel Sinclair.
I'm a very important man.
Good night, Mr. Smith. And do have that blood pressure checked, won't you? We can't have you popping off unexpectedly, you know.
Who was that man? What did he want?
What everyone wants from me. Money.
Oh.
Here we are.
So soon.
For me, too.
We're just getting to know each other.
We can fix that easily. How about lunch tomorrow? We could drive up to Lantana and have a picnic on the beach.
All right.
Good. Oh, I have an 11 o'clock appointment with Mr. Smith, but I'll brush him off in a hurry. Will noon be all right?
Yes, I'll be fine.
Good night, Elsa. Edenescu.
Good night. Would you be terribly shocked if I ask you in for a drink?
I'd be so shocked if it'd take at least a second drink to calm my nerves.
Come in, Mr. Roger Ryan. We've been expecting you.
Well, I guess this spoils it for lunch.
Elsa, go see that Mr. Ryan's room is ready. Permit me to make introduction, Mr. Ryan. I'm Willie Hoffman. This is my business associate, Max Tabor.
Exactly what kind of business are you in?
We're in the ransom business. You see, we have abducted you, Mr. Ryan.
A paltry amount of ransom. I hesitate to insult you with such a trifle.
Insult me.
$99,000. A mere nothing.
89,000. Why not an even 100?
Because we are not looking for trouble.
Mr. Ryan, how can we divide 100,000 3 ways and make it come out even?
That's good thinking, gentlemen, but I'm afraid you've goofed.
Goofed?
Mm-hmm.
What is goofed?
Do you have any idea who I am?
We know who you are.
You're Roger Ryan, the gray ghost of finance.
Not?
Definitely not. At this moment, Roger Ryan is recuperating from an excess of wine, women, and high life in a sanitarium in Monte Carlo.
You see what it takes to become successful, Max? The remarkable ability to look one straight in the eye while making the most preposterous statements. Look at him, Max. Anyone else would be thinking Mr. Ryan was telling the truth.
You don't believe me?
Certainly not. What do you take us for, children?
Why don't you call someone? Try Monte Carlo.
Long distance? Please, Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, if you'll continue like this, I shall become upset. And I don't want to become upset. Later on, my conscience will hurt.
Max. Max has a very sensitive conscience, Mr. Ryan. If he's upset, he becomes violent, even homicidal. His remorse afterwards is the most pitiful thing to behold.
Yes. What?
Please, Mr. Ryan. This is our first working day for a long time, and we're all tired. After a good night's sleep, I'm sure you will see how reasonable our demands are. Max, will you show Mr. Ryan to his room, please?
Mr. Ryan?
But I'm not Roger Ryan.
But of course. Good night, Mr. Ryan.
Good night. So kind of you to come.
Believe me, Gracious Highness, everything is as good as settled. I meet this Roger Ryan tomorrow, and by tomorrow night, you'll have what you desire.
Oh, you are so very kind, dear friend.
Dear friend. I'm a dear friend of the noble house of Hohenlohe.
Everything's going very well, dear. Where's Tony?
Oh, he took that girl home, the one who crashed.
Oh, dear. Tomorrow's going to be such an important day. Do hope he's not going to be late.
Very strong shutters, Mr. Ryan. Bars from the outside. Excuse me. I also took the liberty of bringing a few of your things from the hotel. Your papers, all in order. One of the finest passport portraits I've ever seen. Excuse me. You take an excellent picture.
Thank you. I seem to have thought of everything.
So did we. Mr. Ryan, please. I also took the liberty of bringing some of your clothes. What a lovely monogram. R, Mr. Ryan. And it is on all your clothes.
You seem to have thought of everything.
Mr. Ryan, we had to. We need money. We're very poor, Mr. Ryan.
Am I disturbing you?
Not anymore.
I thought you might like a little snack before bedtime.
G3. Excellent year. Well, here we are.
Yes, we are, aren't we?
Skull.
Dusrovia.
You mind telling me something? Were you in on this from the beginning?
Of course.
And I thought you were such a nice girl.
And now?
I'm not sure. Dusrovia.
Skull. It's a matter of money. When one has no money, one is driven to certain things.
Such as kidnapping.
Please, we're really very nice people.
Are they, really your uncles?
Oh, no. But they're very good to me. Willie is very nice. But Max?
Yeah, crazy.
A little sometimes. More wine?
You have some.
Thank you.
Where did you meet Max and Willie?
In Bucharest. I was working in a machine gun factory on a drill press. I was Stakhanovite.
You certainly are.
That means good worker.
Oh.
I exceeded my norm 6 times. Even have medals to prove it. It was ruining my hands, see?
Lovely hands.
You should have seen them before.
What did Max and Willie do?
Oh, they did everybody. They were confident men.
You mean confidence?
Confidence. What's the difference? Want some more wine?
No. You have some. Why did they leave Romania?
How do you say you know when you take money in a confident game?
A score.
How do you make the big score in a place like Romania? Nobody has any money except the party leaders. And who's going to swindle them?
No, that wouldn't be too wise.
Sudden death, that's what it would be. Dusrovia. No, for the big score you need the rich. And where do you find the rich? Not in Romania, not anymore.
Oh.
So we come to America.
And?
We don't do so well. Sometimes I think Max and Willie are a little old-fashioned.
Oh.
Always they talk about the big score they make in 1928 or 1938. But since 1948, nothing. I like you, Mr. Ryan.
Really? Why?
Because you're so rich and good-looking. But most of all, you're rich.
If only we could be alone somewhere.
Ah, yes.
Some romantic place with soft music. The moon. It's not impossible, you know. We could just walk out of here.
Willie and Max won't let us.
Willie has a gun. If you got it away from him, no one could stop us.
You really want to be alone with me that much?
More than anything in the world. You're the first Stakhanovite I've ever met.
I will fix. Now we are alone.
Dusrovia.
Gracious Highness.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Smith. What a delightful awakening.
Thank you, Gracious Highness. I have good news. All night I'm thinking how to help Gracious Highness. At 4 o'clock this morning, it comes to me. I will invest in Mr. Roger Ryan's new enterprise, $1 million. Then I sell part of it to you, and you end the deal. That will teach Mr. Roger Ryan.
Oh, it's princely of you, Mr. Smith. Positively princely.
Pretty good, huh? Who would think when I came to this country as a poor immigrant boy with only...
Who indeed, Mr. Smith?
Goodbye, Gracious Highness. Plavonia forever.
Forever. Oh, $1 million. Lovely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Max is making breakfast.
Oh, who could think of breakfast at this time of day?
Oh, no. If anyone's late for breakfast, Uncle Max will get very upset.
Well, I wouldn't want to upset Uncle Max.
Hurry and get dressed.
You too.
Good morning, Mr. Ryan. I hope you slept well.
Very well indeed.
We will discuss business after breakfast. One should not talk money on an empty stomach. Eggs Benedict.
Oh.
Max made them. He's an artist, Mr. Ryan, a chef. Would you believe it? He once was a cordon bleu. Tell Mr. Ryan where you last worked, Max.
Hotel Splendid, Istanbul.
Really? Why did you leave?
A slight difference of opinion with the maître d'.
Oh, Mr. Ryan, he upset me very much. You know, later, I left Istanbul in the bottom of a garbage scow. Yes. You know that they would have hanged me over there if they caught me?
Unfortunately, the maître d' upset Max in the kitchen, and there were a number of things like meat cleavers.
Willie, please, Willie. Excuse me, Mr. Ryan. Please, Willie, don't remind me of it. Please don't remind me of this thing.
You mean he...
You do understand why it is important not to upset poor Max.
What?
Now to business, Mr. Ryan. You will call your secretary, Colonel St. Clair, and tell him of our demands. He will have until tomorrow to get the ransom.
Tomorrow?
We are operating on a shoestring, Mr. Ryan. Tomorrow the rent is due. Max loves this house. He will be very upset if we are evicted. You do understand?
Yes.
Please, make the call.
It's most inconsiderate of Tony. The $1 million at stake to go chasing after some
Popsy?
Popsy. Oh, really, Timothy?
Hello. Hello, Tony. Hey, you had us worried there for a minute.
I've got a bit of news for you. I've been kidnapped.
Kidnapped, eh? Well, that's a new word for it, I must say.
Tell him there's a time and place for everything, and we need him here.
Now listen carefully, Colonel. I have been kidnapped. That's right, kidnapped, as in held for ransom.
Good heavens. What? He's been abducted.
What?
Oh, I'm fine. They're treating me handsomely. Nothing's too good for Roger Ryan. They're really lovely people, as a matter of fact. But they do want $99,000 by tomorrow.
$99,000. After last night's party, we couldn't raise 99 cents.
We'll try to think of something, Colonel. Tomorrow's D-Day. D, as in death?
Very well put, Mr. Ryan. Very well put indeed.
Thank you.
Whatever shall we do?
Well, I suppose we could call the police.
Oh, really, Timothy?
Oh, Mum, $99,000. I mean, we just haven't got it.
Well, we've got to get it.
Well, I suppose we could arrange a bridge game.
At a penny a point, it would take a week.
Gentlemen, I understand your problem, but please try to understand mine. Colonel Sinclair will do everything he can, but after all, you haven't given him much time, and $99,000 is not exactly small change.
Oh. Speaking of change, Mr. Ryan, do you have a few dollars in cash?
Uncle Max.
Well, you want to eat tonight. Elsa?
Expenses have been high, Mr. Ryan. If you could spare a small loan.
Will, 22?
Could you make it 21? It divides by 3.
Yes, got it.
Mr. Ryan, you are a prince. Tonight you shall have... Wait. Willie! Beef bourguignon.
Marvelous. Oh, that's wonderful. It's one of Max's masterpieces. Gentlemen, go, Max.
With that
Gentlemen!
Uncle Max, could we have Jerry Jubilee for
I love Jerry Jubilee.
He loves Jerry Jubilee, of course.
Gentlemen, could we skip the menu and get back to the business at hand, the ransom, remember?
Do you have any suggestions?
Just one.
Tell us, Mr. Ryan. You are in this as much as we are.
Yes. How does 3 times $99,000 sound to you?
It sounds 3 times as good.
I will personally raise the ante to 3 times $99,000 on one condition.
I knew there will be a catch.
I'm knee-deep in a business deal right now, and I have to meet a certain person today. Let me keep that appointment, and I will triple the ransom.
You think we're out of our minds, Mr. Ryan?
Very well. Have it your own way. By the way, what do you intend doing with the 99,000?
It will provide capital for future operations.
More kidnappings?
Certainly not, Mr. Ryan. Max and I are not thugs. We are businessmen.
Well, I suppose 99,000 might finance a small enterprise of some sort, perhaps a hot dog stand. They tell me there's a small but comfortable living in that sort of thing.
No, Mr. Ryan. We're speaking of nearly $100,000.
Exactly. That's not much, you know. Good heavens, you weren't planning to start a big operation with that sort of capital, were you?
This is small potatoes.
Chicken feed.
Willie, I think I'm getting upset.
Max, you mustn't get upset with Mr. Ryan.
I'm getting upset with you, Willie.
Max!
Willie, after all, you've told me how our little capital will bring us into big financial operations.
In a small way, Max, in a small way.
Very small way.
Say what you will, Mr. Ryan. $99,000 is capital.
Income, my dear friend. Not capital, income. And a very inadequate income at that. Right. Oh, I suppose you could open up a chain of hot dog stands. 2.
Mr. Ryan, what time is your appointment?
Mr. Smith,
Oh, what about him?
I'll borrow the money from Mr. Smith.
I say now, is that ethical? I mean, really, Mum, you can't go around borrowing.
Dear Timothy, I fully intend to repay him. I'll borrow the money from him, set Tony free. Then Tony can keep his appointment with Mr. Smith, take him for $1 million. Out of the $1 million, I will repay him the 99,000. It's as simple as 2 and 2 make 4.
What on earth's he up to?
Get his license number. 86E 235.
Mr. Smith?
Who are those people?
My field secretary and my bodyguard.
Bodyguard? Who needs a bodyguard?
My dear fellow, you mean you haven't one?
Make a note. Hire 2 bodyguards. Mr. Ryan?
Thank you.
You're not very nice, Mr. Ryan. You refuse to let a friend of mine invest in your new enterprise. That's not friendly of you.
Countess Alexandra. Mr. Smith, the success factor in any large deal depends upon having investors who are very rich, very tough, and very professional. The Countess, alas, is none of these.
Well, you could let her in for a little bit.
An enterprise requiring imagination, daring, the willingness to take great risks for great profits cannot be anchored to the to nervous old ladies who are plunging with their last dime.
You talk pretty good sense. What you say about imagination, daring, it sounds like you talk about me.
Really?
Believe me, Mr. Ryan, when I first came to this country, as a poor immigrant boy with nothing in my pockets but 40 Plavonian slotnies and a silver hunting case watch belonging to my Uncle Plotnik. In the meantime, I've made a great deal of money. Perhaps I would be interested in your new enterprise.
The question, Mr. Smith, is whether I would be interested in your money.
Let's stop beating the bushes, Mr. Ryan. Perhaps from this meeting will come others of interest. What is the nature of your deal?
That's a secret. That would cost you $1 million.
That's not an impossible sum. Shall we talk some more, my friend?
Why didn't you close the deal and take the money, Mr. Ryan?
Because he wasn't ready to give it.
Ready? Mr. Ryan, he was panting to give you $1 million.
My dear fellow, there are certain procedures to be followed in finance. You boys would do well to follow my tactics. You could learn something. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some thinking to do.
Is going on, do you suppose?
I haven't a notion, but I do think we should rescue Tony, don't you, dear?
One rescue coming up.
Does he have to do that, Willie?
It calms his nerves when he's upset.
What's he upset about?
He has a very suspicious mind. All these delays. He thinks perhaps you're trying to arrange a rescue.
You have my word, no one's trying to rescue me.
I hope you're telling the truth, Mr. Ryan. If you're lying, it would upset Max very much indeed.
Yes, yes, very much.
Max, you can relax. No one even knows I'm here. A good night.
Willie, what do you think?
He turned down $1 million, didn't he? He must be legitimate.
He must be crazy. Hello, boy.
What are you doing here?
Hiding.
What'd you do that for?
I thought you might like to be alone again.
Oh, that's a charming idea also, but I had this terrible headache.
Oh, you poor Roger. I will rub your head. You get into your...
Oh, no. I want you to rub my head, but after I've taken my aspirin.
I put some in your bathroom this morning.
Oh, well, I felt so good this morning, I took them all.
I have some in my bedroom. I won't be long.
You take your time.
10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
One.
How did you get in here?
Jimmy, my way.
Well, 2, Jimmy, your way out.
3, you won't need the Marines?
4, everything is under control.
5, what about Mr. Smith?
6, exactly as planned.
7, what's I tell Mom?
8, tell her it's the African Gambit.
Right. 9, anything else?
Yes, 10, you're on your own. Elsa.
Now, that didn't take long, did it?
Oh, I could set my watch by you. Oh, it's gone. Thinking of you, drove it away.
Oh. What was that?
Oh, Cape Kennedy. Moonshot.
Oh.
Mr. Smith, Her Highness is expecting you. Mr. Smith.
Gracious Highness?
Mr. Smith, how nice. Do sit down.
No, Gracious Highness. This is business. Business for you, business for me.
You have thought of something?
Yes, but you must help me. What do you know about this Roger Ryan's new enterprise? No. Don't tell me you don't know anything. You must tell me all you know, Gracious Highness.
But, Mr. Smith, you are asking me to portray a confidence.
In business, it is dog eat dog. Or you wind up 100% bones.
Oh, dear.
We are Plavonians, Gracious Highness. It is you and me against the world.
But Roger Ryan is my friend.
Friends you can get. A fortune is something else again.
You leave me no choice.
And this new enterprise, Gracious Highness?
Well, it has to do with a place in Africa. One of those new countries.
A country so rich in natural resources that every investor in the world is trying to deal himself in. But they didn't know how to reach the right people, did they, Mr. Ryan? Ah, but you did. I like a man who isn't afraid of spreading a little money around where it will do good. A man who doesn't flinch from the sound of a word like bribery.
Where did you learn all of this?
Since our talk yesterday, I've learned many things.
Only one person outside my syndicate knew about my deal. Countess Alexandra.
That will teach, Mr. Ryan. Never confide in a woman. Certainly not when it concerns a secret deal that will bring 1,000% profits to its investors.
1,000%?
Tell him to shut up.
Oh, shut up.
You see, Mr. Ryan, I know all about it. Names, figures, places, everything. What a genius you are. To think you bought an entire country. But the deal isn't final. Not yet. It can still be ruined, and it will be ruined unless you permit me to invest as one of your syndicate.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
You must. Otherwise, whispers will reach the ears of certain people in a certain African country. And then nobody will make any money. Now, check, Mr. Ryan. $1 million. What is your answer?
I'd like to think it over.
Certainly. Take all the time you want. Take 10 seconds and say yes.
Yes.
Now you're being sensible. Shall we have a drink to our good fortune together?
Mr. Smith, I may have to take your money, but I don't have to drink with you.
1,000% return, please. I think we have done a nice piece of business today. Get Gracious Highness on the telephone. I've made her a rich woman.
Did he say 1,000%, Mr. Ryan?
Oh, something like that.
Mr. Ryan, how much will he get back for his investment?
Oh, 10 million. There you are. $297,000.
Oh, it's so green, it's just like spring. Look at it.
No.
What's wrong?
Mr. Ryan, it is not enough.
Oh, come on now. We had an agreement.
Agreement? What's an agreement? You know, Mr. Ryan, where we come from, the agreement is just a poof. Look, Willie and I, we were talking about...
What is a few $100,000, Mr. Ryan, when we could have millions? We want to invest in your syndicate.
You don't know what this could do for us, Mr. Ryan. We could be happy making an honest living if we had a few $1 million.
Believe me, it's better this way.
Please, Roger.
Elsa, do not beg. We are in the driver's seat. Mr. Ryan, you forget. We also know of your secret deal. If whispers should reach the ears of certain people in a certain African country, and nobody will make any money.
You'd go that far?
It's a jungle, Mr. Ryan. Some people just have to be the tigers.
Well, I guess you have me over a barrel.
Go now and put the money where it will do the most good.
You can depend on me.
Thank you.
Rovia.
Go.
There you are. Millions. Bye.
It could have been worse, Mr. Smith.
How?
After all, sir, they gave $500,000 to the refugee colony in New York in your name. You're the most beloved man who ever left Plavonia.
Plavonia. I warned you, Briggs. I never want to hear this name again.